Hey everybody, it's Lon Seidman. We've got another bunch of stuff to unbox here, and I thought I would do another video of me taking things out of the boxes because you all enjoy watching me do that. So we've got here is a bunch of stuff that has come in from a bunch of different places under a whole bunch of different circumstances, so I will do disclaimers as we roll forward here with the unboxings. And we're also live streaming on Amazon right now in addition to my YouTube channel, so you might hear me reacting to comments that I see coming in. And the first thing we're going to unbox is in this box right here. This I bought with my own funds. It came in from none other than Pat Contri, otherwise known as the NES Punk. And this is his latest and greatest coffee table book. And we're just going to take it out of the box here so you can see what it's all about. And I promise not to cut myself at all during this video, so hopefully everything will be good there. And it's got my mailing address here, but that's okay because it's my secure mailbox there. So let's take a look inside here. Very well packaged. Look at this, bubble wrap plus some of the paper stuff there. And I know Pat will probably watch this as I'm unboxing, so this is the high quality, I'm not saying that sarcastically, high quality packaging job here. And this is a big book. And what he's been doing, he did this with the NES last year, is he's taking all of the SNES games and compiling them into this really nice coffee table book. And I might talk about this a little later on the wrap-up or something. And this now is the SNES guide. And he's covering, I believe, the entire US library. I don't think he goes into the other regions here. And I'm not going to go through the whole book because I'm sure he'd want you to buy it. But look at this, table of contents. He's got all the games here. He's got a team that helped him put this whole thing together. And this is what you get, just like a really detailed overview of every Super Nintendo game that ever came out on the US SNES, game after game. And it is pretty extensive. And they have a review, I believe, of each of these. Yeah, so let me tighten up the shot here a little bit so you can see. So as we get in closer here, you can see he's got star ratings on every game. Now, granted, this is going to be the rating that the reviewer assigned to it. But it's a really useful guide if you're getting into emulation or collecting to be able to go through all of this. And I think he's got some historical information here towards the back. Yeah, so he's got a lot of write-ups on all the different things that went on with it. They've got the legendary Super Nintendo device here that was going to incorporate a CD-ROM. So good stuff. And this is like one of these great gifts if you are, buying something for an aging gamer in your life. It's pretty good. He did this as a Kickstarter initially. And let me see if he's got my name on here. He's got it all in alphabetical order by first name. So JK, and then let's see, L. Am I on here? I think I was a kid. Yeah, here I am. Right there. So you can get my name in the book. Pretty cool stuff. So that is the ultimate SNES guide that came in, or that I purchased actually through Pat Contri's thing there. So good stuff there. So now what I'm going to be doing with this one is assigning it the Google Chromecast if you're watching on Amazon, but this is actually something more than that. This is Stadia, and I am late to the game on this. I did buy this with my own funds, and I didn't get a chance to review this yet, and everyone else already has, but we will be doing something on it shortly. Because I started playing around with it the other night, and I thought it was actually halfway decent. Not perfect. And actually, let me take that back. It's not good at all, but it's better than I thought it would be because my expectations were so low. So I think that's partly why I'm a little less going to be less critical of this. I think what I'm going to do in the video that I end up doing is something more along the lines of what is good about Stadia, because we've heard all about what's bad, and it can't be all bad. I did start playing around with it the other night on the last live stream that we did. And what interested me in doing that live stream and playing around with this a bit was that let's get rid of the paperwork here, or the plastic work. What was interesting about it was that it actually felt like it was pretty responsive. The latency didn't seem as bad as people were saying. And the other thing that really intrigued me was the fact that the game spun up a lot quicker than some of the other streaming services that I have worked with before or played with before. So, there could be some value to this here. And we'll, again, kind of play around with this as we go here. So let's see if people start showing up into the stream now. I think it was set to unlisted. That might have been why. All right, so this is the controller. And it feels pretty nice. It's got, I believe, your PlayStation layout where you have the two sticks at the bottom and your buttons up here. The D-pad has a very, feels a little weird, but we'll play around with that a bit. You've got your analog triggers and a USB charging adapter. It's got a headphone out here. So I'm guessing that is probably going to be useful for private audio listening, and we'll play with that when we do the review. And this is the only piece of custom Stadia hardware that they made for this new platform. And the reason is that they are going to be basically allowing this to work on just about any platform that has a screen. Right now it's kind of limited. And the controller connects over the internet directly to the Stadia servers. So I thought that was probably going to be the most unique feature of Stadia. And I'm not going to start playing with it now because we're just doing unboxings, but we are going to be taking a look at that in a full review that I will be doing hopefully a little later this week. Waffle Eater in the Amazon chat says, is that the Stadia controller? It sure is. And there you go. And this is the Stadia Founders Edition kit, and I have in the Amazon chat the Google Chromecast Ultra highlighted because that is what the Stadia system will ship with at the moment. So this is the 4K Ultra, and this is a Wi-Fi device. I used to have one of these and I sold it, so now I've got it again. So that's the little kit there, and then you've got your power adapter right over here. M. Urena from Amazon is also joining the chat. Welcome. And that's it. So it does have Ethernet here. Let me see if I can switch to the other view. You can probably see it from up there. It does have Ethernet, so you can actually get a hardwired connection with this. And I would actually suggest that you do that because the 4K streaming stuff is going to be something you'll want to do. Also in the Stadia kit here is a little thing about the Stadia team thanking you for your support. Some getting started stuff on the controller, and of course some stickers. And I might do a separate live stream on me playing around with Stadia when we get it all going, so be on the lookout for that. So that is the Stadia kit. And again, we got a Chromecast, a controller here, and I will be playing with all of this very shortly. And I'm hoping Friday to get a lot of stuff done because the family will be out, everyone's doing their shopping, and I should be able to spend some time down here doing that. So Stadia, that is that. Okay, next item. And the next one is going to be this box. So let's have a look inside. All right, so inside we have the Xbox One WD Black hard drive. This is a 12 terabyte unit. In full disclosure, this came in free of charge through the Amazon Vine program, and I should also mention that WD is an occasional sponsor here on the channel, but they are not sponsoring this unboxing nor the review that we will be doing of this device. So let's have a look inside. I might need to take out my trusty knife here again to open it up. Now this hard drive will work with the Xbox, but it should also work with PCs as well. The price point on this one I think is about $300 at the moment. So a little on the expensive side, but it is a lot of capacity. And if you have a lot of games on your Xbox, this will undoubtedly allow you to play all of them in one go without having to re-download all the time. And we've got here a little stand, and I can switch over to the other view here too. Our power adapter and some stuff. Now this comes with 3 months of the Microsoft Game Pass, and if you haven't heard of Game Pass before, it's actually, I think, one of the best deals in gaming. Now this, unlike Stadia, is at the moment not a streaming service. This is something that allows you to download games and play them as part of your subscription. So that is that. And let's open up the rest of the box here. right, and this is the hard drive itself. And I saw these at IFA when I was away in Germany recently, and this is what it looks like. Now this looks like metal, but it's not, it's plastic. It's all plastic, so I don't think it looks more rugged than I think it's going to be in practice. So you definitely don't want to be tossing around your mechanical spinning hard drive here. Let's take a look on the back here. The power adapter goes in here. This is a USB 3 hard drive, so you can plug that in there. In the review, what we're going to do is look at how long it takes to load a game up on an Xbox, and then we'll also move it over to my PC and do our usual benchmarks on this as well. So we'll be doing all of that. Now you've got two USB ports here, 7.5 watts total. Which you can use to charge your controllers. So you don't really lose the USB port if you are using your Xbox to charge the controllers. But these will not, I believe, transmit data. This is not a hub, just two USB charging ports. And there's a cooling fan on this as well to keep it cool and having it keep it running consistently. So we will, again, investigate all of that in the full review. And I don't think there's any reason why this wouldn't work on other platforms as well. It is a USB hard drive at the end of the day. You might have to reformat it, but otherwise it should function about the same. And again, you get a 3-month trial to Game Pass as part of the purchase. So there could be, I think it's usually like 20 bucks a month or something. So that's some value there perhaps to maybe look at this, because you'll get some of that investment back if you wanted to do Game Pass. And at a minimum, I think it would probably allow you to extend whatever Game Pass subscription you already have. So keep that in mind with the WD drive. Let's do this next one here. And now I'm not sure what I am unboxing. So let me have a look in here. And I got to make sure I'm very safe with my knife as we cut. And again, I don't remember what this one is. So let's go to camera 4 here, which is actually camera 3, but I have 4 cameras, or 3 cameras and a computer input. This thing's cool. Okay, so this is something that came in full disclosure, free of charge from UniFi. These are the folks that make the UniFi access points, and I have been a big fan of those Ubiquiti. Actually, Ubiquiti is the name of the company. I have been a big fan of Ubiquiti access points. They really give you like an enterprise level piece of hardware that is not all that expensive. So I have, and there's a video I did probably about 2 or 3 years ago on my channel where I did a bunch of just have an overview of what I'm using the Ubiquiti access points for in my home. And what's neat about these access points, they're Wi-Fi access points, is that they support VLANs, and you can have multiple Wi-Fi SSIDs that point to different VLANs. And why that's important is that, you know, with all this IoT stuff that's out there these days, let me make sure I get the right item selected up here on our Amazon chat screen. When you look at all these IoT devices that are out there, you really want to start thinking about segmenting your network. So your light bulbs and your smart switches and your cameras and all that stuff, you may want to move them off the network that your regular devices are on, because if some light bulb decides to no longer get updated by its manufacturer, they become a point of entry for potential hacking or whatever. So if you have them on a segmented portion of your network, when people try to hack into those things, they'll only be able to see the other light bulbs or whatever on the network if you have them all segmented off. And if you don't have a large house, you could do this with your router's guest network. You can put all the light bulbs on the guest network and segment it that way. But if you're in a larger home like I am, it's a little bit harder to set up those guest networks like that. So what you're basically going to do with a VLAN is build out a separate network segment that uses all the same access points, but they're connecting to a different SSID that keeps them off the network essentially from the rest of your stuff, if that makes sense. And this router is a consumer router. It's a little on the pricier side. It's about $300 or $400, but it does the VLANs internally. And I don't think there are many other consumer routers that do this. And it works really well with my existing Ubiquiti stuff. So we're going to have a full review of this when I get my network re-engineered, because what's going to happen here is that I believe this device will also kind of work as the controller for my UniFi access points. And I may have to pick up a few extra smart switches and everything to get it all working. So it's going to be a little bit more of a project. But once it's done, I think I should be able to explain everything to people in a way that I would hope makes sense. And hopefully this explanation I just did makes sense there as well. So let's get the box open here. And again, these guys make great stuff. And I bought the original UniFi access points with my own funds. And this is it. So this is kind of a cross between their consumer line and their enterprise line. And it's got a real consumer feel to it. It actually feels more consumer-y than some of the other devices that I've looked at for them. Kind of looks like a big pill. It's got Wi-Fi radios built in, but you've got your 4 Ethernet ports here. And this is, again, a smart switch on the back. And you can configure VLANs on all of these here. And that is a great way to segment out the network. So that is the router component. And I'm really excited to start playing with this because this has been something I've been meaning to do for a while. And they make other routers, and it was looking a little more complex with their other routers than I thought might work for a consumer audience. So I think this one's going to be the happy medium. And you got a power cable, and of course you're going to plug your cable modem or DSL modem or whatever into here, and then you've got your 4 Ethernet ports. Now, what I'm probably going to have to do is get a few extra small smart switches because I have one UniFi access point down here in the ceiling. That one's directly wired in to my switch over there. So that one's going right in. I could take that one and plug it into one of these ports. But my other 2 are connected to switches in other parts of the house. So the switches they're on have to have a VLAN capable switch so that I can get everything configured. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah, it should be fun to experiment with this one and get everything up and running. So that will be probably a post-Thanksgiving project. And I might live stream that configuration. It might be kind of fun to watch me go through all of that. And I got to just do I got to read the manual and everything as well to get things going there. So that is the UniFi Dream Machine. I'm not sure if I mentioned what it was when I first opened it up. So the UniFi Dream Machine from Ubiquiti Networks. And we will have more to come on that. All right, so the next item here is an Amazon item, sort of, from Nebula. And I believe Nebula is a subsidiary of Anker. And they have licensed the Fire TV into a soundbar. So the other day we looked at the Roku soundbar. This essentially is the Fire TV equivalent. And in full disclosure, I paid for this one with my own funds, and I might have to zoom the camera out here a bit when we get into it. I'm just going to update my chat here on the Amazon side so you can see what we're looking at. This one is about $229, so it costs a little bit more than the Roku version. I believe this is a stereo device, although it says it is 2.1 here on the box, which would lead me to think that there might be a subwoofer built into this. So we'll explore this in more detail in a full review that we'll do soon. But in the meantime, we're going to unbox it. And I think what I'm going to do for this unboxing is zoom out my big camera here on the ceiling. And oh, look at that. We can fit the whole thing in here. That's great. So let's get it open here. And open it up. And let's see what is inside. All right. A lot of styrofoam here. And again, I paid for this one with my own funds. And once I finish reviewing it, we will likely have a video or a sale on this one on my store, so you can take it off my hands when I'm done. And let's get it unwrapped here. I'm actually most eager to see the ports on this. So you know what, maybe let's see if we can crack it open this way. There we go. All right. You know what's funny is that it looks like it's got pretty much the same port configuration as the Roku that we had. So we have an auxiliary in, so this is likely going to be for your other devices. It supports HDMI ARC, which the other Roku soundbar supported, and that, of course, will allow you to have all of your TV audio go through the soundbar. But it looks like you've got an optical option and an auxiliary option here if for some reason your TV doesn't support ARC. So that's good because the Roku did not have an analog in. It was optical or HDMI only. There is a USB port on here, but it says this is only for upgrading. So one thing we will check out in the review is whether or not you can in fact get any external storage on this. And I don't have the specs handy as to what kind of Fire TV it has built in, so I will try to get that information in the full review. And it looks like there are some openings here. Let's see if I can get this without crashing the whole set here. There's some openings here for the, I believe, the subwoofer. So yeah, I'm eager to see how this sounds because the Roku one did not have a subwoofer built in. And then we have, in addition to the soundbar itself, we have some cabling here with a quick start guide. So you get an HDMI cable in the box. That's helpful. Power cable. You've got your audio cable. In fact, this is cool because you've got your RCA to your headphone adapter, so you can plug in a CD player or something like that. And then, of course, you've got an optical cable. So they give you all the cables that you need there. And let's take a look at the quick start guide because I'm curious if it has an indicator as to exactly which direction that the optical flows. Okay, so you cannot enjoy Fire TV content if the sound bar and TV are connected using an optical or aux cable. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so the optical here, I'm guessing, is an input, just like it was on the other thing. All right. So I'll have to play around with this and see what some of the limitations are. But it looks like it supports the Fire TV. I'm guessing it's got a voice control, so you can use the Amazon AWord commands. And you can select Bluetooth, I believe, as well, maybe? We'll have to play around with this a little bit. So there you go. Here's the remote. And it looks like an Amazon remote, but it's got the Nebula branding, and there are a few paid placements of buttons, HBO, Amazon Music, Netflix, and Prime Video here. So that is it. So again, soundbar with the Fire TV built in. So this next item we are unboxing came in from Lenovo, and in full disclosure, Lenovo sponsored us a little while back, but they're not sponsoring this video or unboxing. And this is on loan, as all of their products are from Lenovo. I'm just going to get the camera zoomed in here to unbox which one this is. I forget what's in here, actually, so it'll be a surprise to me. And let's get the box open. And this, I think, is the mystery. It's well wrapped. Ah, yes. So this is the Lenovo Smart Display 7. This is not for sale yet on Amazon. I'm sure it will be at some point in the very near future. And if you've seen the Google Home displays, now they're called Nest displays. This is the Lenovo version of the smaller one. So Lenovo had two of these out last year that we looked at, but both were much larger than the Google offering. This one is more in line with the Google offering. I believe this one's a 7-inch display, just like the Nest display. And what they're shooting for here are things and features that are not in the Google version. So they're promising better audio quality, which of course we will explore in the full review. This one also has a camera so that you can do voice chats with people with Google Duo. And what's nice about the camera on this, like many Lenovo products, is that they have a physical shutter. So if you're not comfortable with that camera being attached to your always listening device, there is an actual shutter here in the back that will block the camera. So that might give you some peace of mind there. It's got nicer speakers here at the bottom. It's not that large, and there isn't much else to see here that we can cover in an unboxing beyond maybe unbox the power supply. And let's see what we've got here for that. So you got your power adapter here. This looks like it is a 20 volt, 1.5 amp output. And what I usually do with these devices is I do measure the power load on them when I do the review, because these things it's good to know what kind of electricity usage you'll be expecting from this when it's on standby. Again, this is on loan from Lenovo, and we're going to have a full review of this very shortly on the main channel. Now, this next item is from Lenovo. In full disclosure, they sponsored us a little bit earlier in the year, but they're not sponsoring this unboxing. And this is another PC that they sent to us on loan. So I'm just going to put the box down here for a second. And I'm kind of excited about this one, too, because, oops, lots of paper there. This is a mini PC, and we don't see too many mini PCs from Lenovo here. We're going to be sending this back to them when we're done reviewing it, and that review will, of course, be on the main channel very shortly. So let's get this thing open. This is a ThinkCenter, and the Think line is mostly like their enterprise devices, but I think a lot of folks can find some use for them on the consumer side as well. And this is a desktop PC. So let us see what is inside. We'll start off with this box here, a box within a box. How about that? And as we open it, what do we have? Well, we've got a DisplayPort adapter, so it's USB-C to DisplayPort. We have a power adapter, and this is using the Lenovo power adapter thing here. It's not a USB-C adapter. And I think it's their standard 65-watt adapter here. And when we look at the PC, we'll determine whether or not you can do any USB stuff. You got a Wi-Fi antenna for the wireless that is undoubtedly built into this thing. We're kind of doing this backwards because we haven't actually unboxed the computer yet, but that is everything in the accessory box here. So let's put all this back together. Oh, wow. Now, I didn't realize how small this thing was going to be. Check this out. Let's go to my other view here. This is it. Look at this. This is cool. So this is the Lenovo ThinkCenter M90N1. And this is the computer. It's a tiny little mini PC. It's got a Core i5 and 8th gen chip. I'm pretty sure that this one is running with the U-series processors. I think there's a fan on here. There's plenty of venting on it. So this should give you kind of like a laptop level of performance with its i5 that's built in. Let's have a look at the ports here after I take off some of the plastic. But it is really, really lightweight, and it's got a nice feeling build to it. I would imagine, I didn't see anything in the box to VESA mount it, but I would guess there's probably a VESA mounting kit that you can get, so you can just kind of put it on the back of a monitor if you wanted to do something like that. So let's get the stuff undone here. All right, so on the front, we have the power button. We have a USB Type-C port. This is a Gen 2 port, so it's 10 gigabits per second rated. 2 USB 3.0 ports, also Gen 2. Headphone, microphone jack. On the back, we've got power, DisplayPort out. So it's interesting, they gave us a DisplayPort adapter, plus it does have its own DisplayPort on there. And then we've got the USB Gen 2 port here, another USB-C. Now this one they're saying does display out and data. So we'll take a look at these ports and see if the front one can do everything the back one does. But I would imagine that given that they're labeling this one, if I can get in a little bit closer here for you, given that they're labeling this one with a separate DisplayPort icon, I have a feeling that this is the only display output you'll get beyond the DisplayPort there. Interestingly, no HDMI, but of course you can get an adapter for that. USB 3.0 Gen 2 here, and then you've got gigabit Ethernet and a Kensington lock. This thing's really cool. I like the size of this. Look at that. That's really neat. So we're going to, once Jake gets here, he's going to start testing this, and we'll get a full review up shortly. You don't expect great performance on the gaming side, but I think it will do well for a lot of other stuff. And of course, this is more of an enterprise-driven device, and we'll test all sorts of things, Linux and gaming and all of that good stuff. So stay tuned. More to come on this little guy. It's pretty cool stuff. So neat. So we did take it apart to see what is inside. You can upgrade the storage, and I was surprised to see that you have room for 2 NVMe drives here. There's one installed, of course, and you've got a second slot here. Now, you could put in an adapter and have a GPU running on top if you want, but it'll look kind of ridiculous like that. But that's an option for what you could do in that second slot. This slot, of course, is occupied by an NVMe drive. Then you've got your wireless card there. On the flip side here, you can see where the CPU heatsink is located. The RAM is soldered on, so you're going to be locked in with whatever RAM configuration you choose. And the processor, of course, is also soldered on, but it's a pretty efficient design here. We'll definitely test and see how well it does under load to see if there's any thermal throttling and also how loud that fan gets too. And it looks like the fan is also helping out the main storage drive here too, so that might help in keeping the storage speeds consistent when it's under load. So good stuff. We're going to put it back together here and get it booted up and do a full review soon on the main channel, so stay tuned. All right, so that's going to do it for this latest unboxing here on the channel. I know you all love me unboxing stuff, so hopefully you had a good time watching this. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you who are celebrating, and we'll be back with reviews of hopefully all of this stuff over the next couple of weeks. Until next time, this is Lon Seidman. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold-level supporters, the Four Guys with Quarters podcast, Chris Allegretta, Tom Albrecht, Brian Parker, and Kalyan Kumar. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.